Republican representative for Tennessee and member of the House Oversight Committee, Tim Burchett, joins me. Good evening, sir. And why does Archives get to say to the House Oversight Committee, whose job it is to oversight, whether you're in favor of this investigation or not, but why is the Archives making these decisions about what gets redacted and not?
Well, first of all, Greta, thank you so much for having me on the show, and I agree with you that Joe Biden will not be the Democrat nominee. Honestly, they don't get to make that decision. This is another unelected bureaucrat in Washington, D.C., you can call it the swamp or whatever, that just they always withstand presidents, White Houses, what have you, and then administrations, and then they just carry on. And that's the way they do. They've never called into question. And at some point, we're going to have to use the Hallman rule and start looking at funding individual people and defund them and have them fired, because this does not, and it should not. And these folks, they don't even have, do they have a security clearance that are making these decisions? There's a lot of questions that need to be asked, and we're not getting them out of this administration.
Well, I'll tell you my criticism of the committee. I mean, you could step it up a little bit. I mean, you all had a month off for vacation. I mean, and not you in particular, but everybody in Congress took a recess. Sure. And it's drip, 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 drip. And we're approaching a 2024 election. And, you know, this should be, it's fish or cut bait. You know, if the president did something wrong as vice president, we ought to know about it. If he didn't, he ought to be cleared. But it's just nonstop. Every single night I'm reading about someone making a demand and redacted news. You got subpoena power, so why not use it and let's move this thing along a little bit?
I agree 100%, Greta. I'm sick of it. I said, let's make our case 1 week and let's get on with it. We've got a budget that's out of control, $32 trillion in debt, a border that's overflowing, fentanyl coming in, tens of thousands of people dying from overdoses, yet this is what we keep focusing on. Let's get on with it. We know the Senate they're not going to do anything with it, and if they do, they won't have the 60 votes to pass it. I say let's make our case to the American people. Let's put all the evidence forward, and let's go. Let's fish or cut bait. The American public's sick and tired of it. I'm sick and tired of waiting around. This is, I think we should have learned our lesson from the January 6th Commission. You know, they had some overproduced thing by CBS, and then they dragged it on, and more people were watching the Cartoon Network reruns of SpongeBob than watching that garbage.
Do you have any evidence that the president, I know Hunter Biden, there's a lot of smoke there, but do you have any evidence that the president himself changed any of his policies or did anything, unlawful when he was vice president?
Other than what?
Or even that lingers now, I guess. Even that lingers now.
Well, other than, I don't know if you want, I'm not an attorney, but to me, when you take $20 million and you dispense it among your families, create 21 different LLCs, and then we have testimony saying that 10%'s going to the president, and then Hunter Biden in his own message, in his own words, says that the president's getting too much. So, is he doing anything with it or not?
What happens if you subpoena? What happens if you subpoena Hunter Biden and say, who's the 10% for the big guy?
I agree. Let's get him in there.
He's either going to answer or he's going to take the fifth, one or the other.
That's why you and I aren't in leadership, Greta. I'm kind of sick and tired of all the messing around. I'm ready to go. Let's go. In Tennessee, people have had enough of this. They can spot it. Let's get him in there and let's ask him some tough questions. Unfortunately, we're kind of slaves to the media, and everybody's trying to get their 15 seconds of soundbite in. We just need to get on with business. This is dragging on too long, and I agree with you.
Congressman Tim Burchett, thank you. I hope you come back. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.